Hey man, what it is, this is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. There go to Cash App, $ Deem by any means. There go to PayPal, at Deem by any means. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. It is much, much, much appreciated. All right, if you've been under a rock and you ain't been following boxing, hey, you right there. Don't be an eavesdropper. Hit that like button. Please don't be eavesdropping. Um, yo, I get attacked a lot in this boxing game, y'all, because I'm Mr. Consistency. Um, People dislike that about me, that I don't care if I like content creators or a fighter or whatever. When people say things that ain't 100 and they say things that I don't believe, it has a lot of moral and principle behind it, I'm going to call it out. I've been on point, y'all. If in case you've been under a rock, you know that Keyshawn Davis was on Mill City Boxing channel and he took some major shots at Abdullah Mason about his resume and things like that he not ready, X, Y, and Z. And this was after Abdullah Mason was in the back with Keyshawn Davis, and it appeared that Keyshawn Davis was showing mad love, wasn't talking gritty. And then when he got off camera and wasn't around Abdullah or his family or anything like that, he started, trying to downplay the man and what the man is accomplishing at such a young age in the sport of boxing. And I called Keyshawn Davis out on it, y'all. I called Keyshawn Davis out on it, and I said it loudly and proudly. But Keyshawn, I'm very proud of Mr. Davis. Yes, I am. And I told him on Twitter, even though he ain't respond, but I'm glad that he heard it. He heard the noise because my video got a lot of views about that. He heard it. Oh, he asked because wasn't even too many people talking about it. So it wasn't even like it was this super amount of backlash from what he said. I was one of the few that called him out on it. And I believe Keyshawn Davis probably saw my video. I can't prove that, y'all. I can't prove it, but I think he saw it. Okay. And I feel as though I owe Keyshawn Davis this because he did exactly what I thought and I asked him to do. That man realized he was wrong. He realized how it looked, and he didn't want to be perceived that way because I didn't want him to be perceived that way either, y'all. Not at all. And I'm very proud of Keyshawn Davis for being a man. See, that's the thing a lot of these boxers, they not willing to do nowadays is admit that they are wrong and stand on it. Just as loudly as he was talking down on Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis was just as loud in his response and his apology. I can respect that. Shout out to Virginia. Shout out to my man Dante down there in Virginia. What's up, big dog? I hope you see this video because you know this is partially for you, my guy, because I know this your guy. And I like Keyshawn Davis a lot. I think Keyshawn Davis is one of the top guys in the sport of boxing. I think Keyshawn Davis is definitely a top 25 fighter right now at this very moment in all of boxing. And that's an account, and he's building and building and getting his name out there. And I like all that. I love the way he fights. I was very impressed his last fight, even though Keyshawn, that was a wrestling match. That was a wrestling match. That was a boxing / UFC / WWE, the Vince McMahon. I thought Vince McMahon was going to come out with throw a chair in the ring. I swear, y'all, I thought Vince McMahon was going to pop out Dana White. Was they pranking me? Was I punked? But anyway, yeah, I'm just proud of Keyshawn Davis for sitting up there and being a man about it, man, and then realizing he was wrong and realizing how it looked. And it just wasn't thorough. It just is what it is. See, that's a thing in boxing. We don't like to just call things out when it is what it is. When guys move up the weight divisions after calling somebody out for years that was there, we just be like, oh, okay. When a guy said he want to talk to his family and don't want to fight all of a sudden, but just 3 months ago, we scared to say it is exactly what it is. Your lying eye is not lying to you. You saw what you saw. Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford in the ring. You saw Earl get beat up. It ain't nothing to think about. It is what it is. I love Earl Spence, but it is what it is. Like, so But a lot of y'all, man, y'all was coming at me, man, crazy for coming at Keyshawn about this. And I was right, man. And I was right again. Y'all ain't proved me wrong about nothing on YouTube yet. I keep telling y'all that. But anyway, y'all ain't proved me wrong about nothing yet on YouTube. But it is okay. Because, like I said, man, I earned that nickname, Mr. Consistency, man. And I told Abdullah, I told Keyshawn that I'm going to sit up there and be just as loudly in a response, bigging you up about what you did as a man, because Abdullah Mason ain't deserve that, yo. It ain't Abdullah Mason's fault that he out here putting on spectacular performances and people like him. Yo, people are really making like it's your boxing. See, that's the thing about boxing. I'm gonna say this, y'all. Boxers are the most hatingest athletes out of everybody, because boxers get offended if you bring up another boxer who actually doing good. They get offended, y'all. Like, they offended by somebody like Abdullah. Like, and this ain't no shot at Keyshawn, but Keyshawn was already worked up. But he was mad that they was talking about Abdullah in a way like he could mess with him or Shakur. So that's where it came from. But it's not Abdullah Mason's fault that he on the radar like that, because Keyshawn, you rocking with him. You think he amazing. How you mad at everybody else for thinking he amazing, but you in the back double handshaking, telling him we gonna fight one day? You clearly don't think he a bum then, now do you? It ain't Abdullah Mason. He's stopping stuff on the same card y'all on. He doing what he's supposed to do. Boxers are the only people that get mad that you bring up people that is their contemporaries, that is their peers, and they're doing something good in the same weight division. It's like, how dare you? How dare you talk about how amazing Abdullah Mason has been? How dare you? So I just don't like that, man. We supposed to build up the prospects. It don't matter how good a prospect is. You know, the first thing people going to say, man, he ain't fight nobody. You know, like that. It's from David Morrell, Carmel Moulton, Abdullah Mason, Xander Zayas. It was Keyshawn Davis, like Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. They all went through that. So that be the Terrence Crawford. That be the thing that boggles me about boxers. It was a point in time where people were saying you ain't fight nobody. Was you not good then when you you just became good? Was Gervonta Davis not already very good his first professional fight? Do you get better over time? Absolutely. But the part that y'all people don't understand is that a lot of these fighters, from the amateurs and everything, they've been fighting. Andy Cruz, 20-some years old. So he ain't got that many professional fights, but Andy Cruz been out here. So if he come out, he's good now. He's good now. It's not, he don't have to wait to be good. It's just we wait till he fights somebody to say he's good. It didn't change before the fight. He was good. 2 weeks before the fight, let's say a guy get his first notable name, right? And y'all was like, yeah, he finally fighting somebody. And then he beat him up. He wasn't no good, no better a week later after the fight than he was 2 weeks before it. That was the same person. You just giving him his credit now. He been like that. So like I said, man, boxers are literally the most hatingest pro athletes of everybody. Like, just imagine if KD was like, man, why y'all talking about Ant-Man? Ant-Man ain't nobody. You'll be like, what? Like that's crazy. You will understand it in basketball. When Patrick Mahomes won his first Super Bowl, what if Tom Brady was like, man, why y'all talking about Patrick Mahomes? He ain't that good. He only got one Super Bowl. Like, but listen, man, Keyshawn, glad you apologized. Glad that you realized your wrongs, because that ain't the way to get the fight. You could get the fight that way, but you ain't gotta do it that way, Keyshawn. And that was my only message to you, Brody. That you ain't have to do it that way, because y'all on the clash course anyway. And if you told them that y'all going to fight, then just stand 10 toes down on that. Continue to call him out at the times where you probably should be calling him out later, and we get it done like that. I think y'all get it twisted. We like to see a circus and all that, but we love to see men walk with grace and really be 10 toes down on what they doing. We loved Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford press conferences and them in the back talking about they gonna fight and beat each other up and all that a few years before they fought. We loved that. It wasn't no disrespect. It ain't have to be disrespect. It was just banter, and that's fine. That's what you're supposed to do. But then when you're trying to downplay somebody, that's where the problems come in at. When you're trying to say somebody don't deserve something or they ain't earn this or earn that, that's where the problems come in because us as the fans determine that. Y'all boxers don't determine that. And that's the problem and the issue that we be running into. We tell you who good, who we want to see you fight, who we think next up. You don't tell us that. That is not your that's not your position to tell us that. Your position is to beat the people we tell you we think like that. It is not your job to sit up there and tell us, well, this guy ain't like that. Blah, blah. If he, well, okay, that's not going to change the fact we like the way he fight. You ain't got to think he like that, but we do. So we want to see, you want you to fight this man. Prove he ain't like that. Y'all already know what this is, right? Dean by any means. And I holla at y'all.